All right, man. All right, so I've been gone for the past few days, so it is what it is. But fuck it, we're just gonna talk about it right now. Who cares? We'll let people come into the stream as they come into the stream or whatever. All right, man. Yo, Palworld has been Palworld has been in the drama sphere. Like, holy shit, I did not think it would be like this, bro. So for those of y'all that are kind of unaware, all right, Palworld is this game that got released recently, and it's pretty much been like touted as like, you know, like Pokemon with guns, pretty much, right? That's what it's been called ever since we first saw it, like years and years and years ago, which, by the way, we did see this game years and years ago. A lot of people like seem to think that this game like came up out of nowhere or some shit and like just dropped. Like, nah, this game's been in development for like 3 or 4 years or some shit. I think we first saw the original like announcement trailer for this thing back in like 2021 or something. So it's been in production for a while, but nobody ever really paid it no mind. It was the way that I thought about it is like everybody kind of knew that, like, all right, like this is clearly playing off of the fact that it's got a lot of connections to other games out there, like, you know, like Ark and like Pokemon and stuff like that. Like, I mean, the game was literally dubbed by the community, you know, Pokemon with guns, right? So the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because I feel conflicted, because I genuinely see both sides like Chanel, okay? On one hand, I think that this game, it really isn't that fucking deep. And like the people that are like mounting a hate brigade against this game on Twitter, I'm sorry, I find it like extremely corny and like extremely performative. I do not think anybody genuinely gives a fuck. I think if this game came out and flopped, nobody would give half a fuck about this game. But because it's so successful, like people like are dogpiling this game and trying to shit on it, right? You know, and they're trying to, and the thing is, the reasons they're trying to shit on it, and this is why I feel so conflicted, is like the reasons they're trying to shit on it, like I can't even necessarily argue against, because like the game very clearly wears its inspiration on its sleeve. And this is what pisses me off about the Palworld dick riders, okay? Because the Palworld dick riders are really trying to say that this game is like really original and is not blatantly copying anything right now. When like in actuality, like, be so for real. And I'm not even trying to say that's necessarily a bad thing, okay? I don't give a fuck about the fact that the game is blatantly copying shit. I don't care. Like, as long as like the game is fun or whatever, that's really all that matters, right? But you got the Palworld pals, if you will, trying to be like, no, what do you mean? Like, it's just a sheep. Like, I'm sorry, does Nintendo own fire-breathing dragons? Like, they don't own the copyright. Oh my God, what about when Nintendo fucking copied Dragon Quest? And it's like, bro,
also,
like,
my
shut
manga
the
won the
fuck
Bronze
up.
Award and is
Those
going to be
are
published
not
in Manga Plus.
Cairo, hold on. I'm gonna get to that in a second because that's actually huge. Congratulations. But I'm talking about Palworld right now. That's huge though. Congratulations. But let's not act like Nintendo taking inspiration and putting a twist on Dragon Quest monsters is the same as what the fuck Palworld is doing. Like, let's be so honest with ourselves. Like, you guys are literally batshit insane. Like, this is literally Pansage. Like, come on. Like, we're losing the fucking plot. I agree with you, Rise. There was this thread that went on, and people were talking about like, oh, like these are all the pals and their Pokemon counterparts. Some of those were like a significant. Can you guys shut the fuck up? I'm talking here. Some of those were like a significant reach. Like, I don't have the post on hand. I don't know if anybody got that shit so we can just look through it or whatever. But like, those were a significant reach, a lot of those. But I think there's more than a handful that were like blatant ripoffs. Like, let's be so honest, blatant fucking ripoffs. However, here's what really chaps my ass about this whole situation. Let me take a drink out of my Stanley cup. I had to trample over a 40-year-old white woman at Target to go ahead and grab that Stanley cup. So, and that was sort of a victory sip for me, if you will. But going back to the whole Palworld situation, one thing that is really shocking to me is I thought we were like all okay with like fuck giga-billion-dollar corporations. Like I thought we was like all okay with that. So why the fuck are we out here dick riding Nintendo and being like, oh my God, like Nintendo's copy or Nintendo's IP. Oh my God, their IP, bro, fuck Nintendo. They're some of the most anti-consumer fucking developers out there. Why are y'all dick riding so fucking hard? Oh, it's not about Nintendo, it's about the artists that worked on it for Nintendo. Bro, here's the problem. I think everybody thinks of the artist as like the person on Twitter that is like, that has their coffee link in their bio and is struggling to pay their rent, okay? I'm sorry, my nigga, if you designed Charizard, you're not struggling to pay your fucking rent. Like these are on different levels. And even still, like if you were an artist that made this piece of art for Nintendo and Nintendo now owns that, regardless if a nigga rips that off, that what does that like really mean to you at the end of the day? That's not hurting your pockets. You already got your payment for that artwork that you created. Fuck Nintendo. Who gives a fuck that they're getting ripped off? Like, I think it's fucking hilarious that Nintendo is this billion-dollar corporation and they own, or I don't know if they own Pokemon or how the fuck that shit works or whatever, but Pokemon is the most valuable franchise, the most valuable IP on the planet, and they're getting dog walked by a team of 15 people that stole their designs and let people shoot them with AKs. Nigga, that's funny as fuck. I'm sorry, like, and like, trust me, like, I stand with artists. And part of me is and we're gonna get to the whole AI situation in a little bit, because the whole AI situation I feel like is also overblown, but we have the thread here of them comparing the pals to Pokemon, okay? So in this situation, yeah, this is Cinder Ace with a tail. Like, this one is pretty obvious. This one is like extremely blatant. Same mouth, same eyes. This is like clearly supposed to be like a Meowth counterpart. This is, I'm not even, this might legitimately be the Viper like model. Like they might have hacked Nintendo servers and like legitimately taken the model. Like that one, of course, blatant, okay? This one, okay, I can kind of see it. Like this one, it looks like Aggron a little bit. Like I can see that. But again, I would say that this one I could see being in the way of being like inspired by like an Aggron Zekrom fusion, type shit. But another thing too is like, I thought we was all jacking with like, you know, that website that like you put in 2 Pokemon and it like combines the Pokemon and shits out like a combined Pokemon. Why is nobody being like, oh, but what about the Nintendo IP? What about the Nintendo IP? Bro, no one gives a fuck about that shit. So because somebody wanted to make a game out of it, now it's a problem. Like, I thought we all were like with like fan projects, right? Like if somebody makes a ROM hack, or if somebody makes like their own spin-off Pokemon game, or like Pixelmon for Minecraft or whatever, like we all were upset when Nintendo shut those things down. Why the fuck is this really any different, okay? And then you have this, I don't even know what they're getting at with this. I guess the face is the same. But I mean, this is pretty unique. They're saying that this is that thing and I forgot what this Pokemon's Toxicity or whatever. Okay, I can see that. That's a little bit of a fusion, But again, I feel like some of these are like, I don't even know what they're getting at with this one. I'm gonna be honest. That one I don't see at all. This one looks like Shaman, I would agree. This one I would say is a, like I would say like it's supposed to be reminiscent of Braixen, or however you say this fucking Pokemon's name, but I would not say this is a rip. I think this is like an evolution. This one to me looks a lot like Wooloo, but again, that's whatever. Luxray, I mean, this one is like, this one is probably one of the most blatant in the entire fucking game. This is like very Luxray coded. This one, I guess I'll give you that one. Again, some of them are like similar, but to say like that it's like that all these are one-to-one rips, I don't believe that. Like this one, for example, this is not a rip. This one is what would classify, in my opinion, as like taking inspiration from another Pokemon and then like making their own PAL out of it. This is not a one-to-one rip like how some of these other like PALs are, right? This one, again, it's a clear inspiration. I do not believe it's a rip. This one is like kind of like an amalgamation. And you see, I think Palworld, I can't even say Palworld correctly. I think some of these PALs in Palworld like have the thing where they are a bunch of Pokemon sort of fusioned together. And again, I personally don't see why Twitter is up in arms about this, because this, I'm sorry, this was a reach. This one was, I couldn't believe it when I fucking saw that shit. But regardless of that, the copyright bullshit aside, I don't understand why Twitter is on the dick riding of protecting like Nintendo's copyright on their IP. I think that shit is very, very stupid. I'm just gonna be honest. But it is what it is, because in my opinion, that's not the thing that is the most worrisome about Palworld. The thing that's been making me try to justify whether or not I want to play this game, and I'll leave it up to you guys if you guys want me to try it out, because honestly, I think the game looks decent. It looks fun. I mean, when we watched the whole Palworld trailers and stuff, like last week or 2 weeks ago, I mentioned that I thought it looked pretty cool and I would be willing to try it out. But it's not like I need to try it out. So I'll leave it up to you guys at the end of this whole conversation if you guys want me to play it today, and then we'll see if I end up playing it. But the biggest thing is the AI situation, right? And the reason why this is so confusing and hard to talk about is because as of right now, at the time of me recording this, there is zero evidence to support that there is any AI being used in this game. In fact, it's looking way more likely that there is no AI that was made to play this game, or to make this game. So where this whole thing even originated from and started from is because one of the dudes, I'm pretty sure he's like one of the head honchos or whatever the fuck at Pocket Fair or whatever, Pocket Pair, whatever the hell the company's called. He tweeted some pro AI stuff in the past, and it was about 6 or 7 months after the original trailer for Palworld. And he was talking about how you could easily create different kinds of Pokemon that would end up skirting the, copyright laws that that Nintendo or the Pokemon company has on certain Pokemon. And people took that to mean that there was AI made or used to create Palworld. However, there's no evidence for that, because if you actually go back, you can hear that, or you can see rather, that the dude was talking about a specific person that worked at BuzzFeed that was making this shit, right? So it was the person at BuzzFeed that was talking about using AI to skirt the Pokemon stuff, and all this dude was talking about was he was just talking about that. And yes, it does seem like they support AI and they support that type of stuff as well. However, I think what's also important to note is that a lot of the tech world is like that too, okay? Square Enix is famously pro AI and pro NFT. 100%, like they are in on this shit, right? But I don't see nobody boycotting FF7 Rebirth. Ain't nobody boycotting FF7 Rebirth. And why? Because there's no evidence to support that Square Enix is using AI to create their games. Just like there's no evidence to support that Palworld is using AI to create their games. And now I'm gonna say something that is a little bit controversial, I think, especially amongst my followers here. Hold on, give me a second. I have to reply to this DM. I do not think AI is wholly bad. Let me explain my reasonings for this. I think there are ways in which AI can be used well. Using AI to replace artists is bad, and I would never agree to that. But there are ways to use AI that I think are really good. For example, on my Google Pixel 8 Pro, right? If I take a picture and there's like somebody standing in front of my subject, or if there's like a fence in front of me or some shit, I can use AI on my phone to replace or to remove the person in the photo or to remove something in the photo and have AI generatively fill that area. I think that is really cool and really useful. The new Samsung phones have a feature to where, like, if you take a picture through the glass, right? Like, let's say you saw the sunset and you wanted to take a picture through your car window, but then the car window has reflections on it. The new Samsung phones have an AI feature to where it can remove the reflections on the glass on the windows to give you a clear view of the sunset. I think stuff like that is really cool. And also, I think if there are artists that are already employed and they decide to use AI to further their art, again, as long as they're not using generative AI to just do all the art for them, then I don't see what the fuck is wrong with that personally. And on Palworld in their credits, I believe, I forgot the exact number. I don't know if anybody in the chat has seen this, but there are a handful, more than a handful of artists that are credited. So first of all, this team is really small, and that team is already comprised of a bunch of artists already. So if those artists did use AI, I don't see what the big deal is. What a lot of people on Twitter seem to be upset about is the fact that, like, people are using AI to infringe on Nintendo's copyright, which again goes back to my whole thing of who the fuck cares? Like, why are we dick riding Nintendo's IP? Why are we dick riding Nintendo's copyright over their artwork? I thought it was fuck Nintendo. I thought it was fuck big corporations. And then this goes on to a whole other topic, which is kind of like, it feels defeatist to say this, but genuinely speaking, there is no ethical consumption in a capitalist society. This goes into a lot of political shit that goes beyond the scope of what I'm talking about now, so I'm not going to get into it too deep. But under capitalism, there is pretty much no ethical way to purchase anything. With that being said, if you know something is, you know, downright bad, wrong, or evil, or supports, you know, bad causes, you know, do your best to avoid this type of stuff. But as of right now, at this moment, there is nothing to support that Palworld is one of those things. And I think it's like, it's kind of like damaging in a sense, because we don't know, you know, what is going on internally at this team, right? All that we know is that this is a small development studio that, I mean, is clearly taking inspiration from a lot of other games to make their game. And they just had a massive success. And however many employees they have, their lives just got fucking changed. You know, they became overnight successes, overnight millionaires in a sense, right? And, you know, that's crazy. Like, congratulations to all their success, you know? And at the end of the day, you know, I don't know why the Nintendo Ninjas is out right now, but if it was that big of an issue, if there was really that much blatant copyright infringement, do you really think Nintendo wouldn't have hired hitmen on these people? Nintendo will silently fucking murder some like 14-year-old kid that's just chilling there making a ROM hack in their house for like 3 people on his Discord to play. You think as soon as this shit didn't get announced, Nintendo wouldn't have something to do with that? You also think that, like, Xbox, who has a close relationship with Nintendo, do you really think Nintendo would sit by as Xbox is like dick riding this Palworld game and then like have nothing happen? Like, Palworld is either building the fucking fattest RICO case of all fucking time against the developers of Palworld, or maybe there's just really nothing they could fucking do. Maybe there's that, you know. I don't know what to make of all this. Again, I'm gonna leave it up to you guys as to whether or not I play this game. I'm interested in playing it, and I think that, you know, regardless of whether or not you guys want me to stream that shit, I think I will at least try it and see how I feel about it. But yeah, you know, it is what it is, man. And that's what I feel about the whole Palworld situation. There's a lot of unnecessary drama going around, and I feel like it's a lot of people that really just want to have this moral high ground over others, right? And I think that shit is just really, really whack. I think this game is like very separate from like the Hogwarts situation, which I see it getting compared a lot to. Because in the Hogwarts situation, you know, you can't really separate like J.K. Rowling from like Hogwarts or from Harry Potter in general. So that was like a completely separate situation to what I believe is going on with Palworld. And to me, the outrage for Palworld just makes no sense. I'm just gonna be honest. I think it's a bunch of moral grandstanding that a lot of people are doing. And I think that the majority of people are not being genuine at all about this game. That's just how I feel about it. Anyways, that's what I think. It is what it is.